That was Vukani from album Zandisile by yours truly, Simphiwe Dana. Good morning and welcome to 959 Breakfast. This is Simphiwe Dana and ready to end off the guest decoded heritage focus for this month. But I'm not alone. I'm with Dineo and Sol, and of course you, the VIP, and we're together until 9 a.m.
Yeah!
I can be a radio person, right?
Yeah, checking our jobs here.
Check it out, check it out. So, what a groovy one. You were telling me now off air that Vugani is from the first album, right? Mm-hmm. And it was a very light sort of album.
I think it is the lightest album that I have.
That you have, right?
Yeah, my very first one.
Your very, very first one. That's how many years ago now?
Shoo. 2004.
2004, Sisi. Yes, that's years, eh?
Yeah.
That's years with Donzile. Minyaga. So she's a multi-award-winning artist born in Butterworth and raised all over the Eastern Cape. Young Simphiwe Dana, raised by a preacher father and a singer mom, was a regular in the church choir with 5 very key albums under her belt. Why do we say very key albums under your belt? Because some people say 5 albums under, but yours are very key. What makes them very key?
Who says they are key?
They are key.
They are key. They are key. They are key.
I don't know. I think it's the fact that I'm still around 18 years later.
18 now?
Yes. And I still get told that my music is relevant.
Extremely, actually.
It is.
And that it... get closer, sorry. That it resonates, and I also get like 21-year-olds coming to me and saying, I grew up on your music and it has set me on this path. My parents used to play like your music when I was growing up, and those kids have continued that tradition of loving my work and and punting my work out there. So I think my music continues to be relevant.
Yeah. It's a very, very your style of music. It's almost like quite spiritual as well. It touches parts of the psyche that need to be touched. The messaging, really, the penny drops. She's hanging with us for 3 hours. We are decoding her. Her name is Simphiwe Dana. We're wrapping up Heritage Month, and we're talking about hairstyles. If you were to choose a hairstyle today to switch yours up, because I know every time you go for performance...
Darling, have you seen me?
Big on the hair. Yeah.
That's what I was about to say.
Always on fleek.
Every time she's about to hit up the stage for performance, your hair is always out of this world.
Yeah.
And I think you probably inspired this conversation that we're having around hairstyles.
Okay.
And all your album covers, you don't miss with the hair. You never miss with the hair.
I didn't really like Firebrand, like the artwork for that. It's probably like the only one that I didn't like.
Did you like the hair at least?
No, not necessarily. I think it was just a weird time for me. That the music was great. Don't get it twisted. But I was just going through something that time. Yeah. But generally, I am the one who designs my album covers,
as well as your looks in terms of your hairstyles.
And then I also conceptualize the looks.
Yeah.
So I'm very much in control of my creative side.
Yeah.
Even the music, I work alone at home, in my studio.
You produce?
I'm starting to now. I then get people on top, but I lay down all the groundworks, all the melodies,
this is insane.
And the rhythms.
This is insane.
And stuff like that.
This is so good to know. This is so good to know.
18 years. I must have learned something.
Wow, you record
yourself.
This is wild. This is absolutely wild. Her name is Simphiwe Dana. We're decoding her. This, what you're listening to, is BOP Zabalaza. It is 6:53 on the dot. And so... You say you've been in the game for 18 years, right? And you dropped your first album in 2004. But you didn't actually start working in 2004. You started working in 2002, actually.
Well, I got some opportunities. I got to Joburg in 2000. And I spent like 2 years just fluffing around, not knowing where I would, end musically, because there was nothing like me in the market at the time. And I was trying to fit in, and I didn't fit in. I remember Oskido, even said, sweet, what do you want to do? Like, you can't do this. You want to dance? Like, he used to make fun of me. I lived across the road from him. So it would take me a while to figure out who I wanted to be.
Yeah.
But in that time, I I got onto so many amazing stages that I didn't know would be
Performance
beneficial.
stages.
Yes, like there was a place called 206 in Joburg on Louis Botha.
Yeah.
Aboshaka Sisulu Nabo Lebo Mashile used to run like that stage. So it was for poetry, live music, break dancing, speed painting, and all of that kind of stuff. So that was my first foray into singing in public. The first time I ever got on stage. I got on there and it was something very different from what I'd been used to, clubbing and this and that. And I felt compelled to get on stage. And I got on stage and I sang this song, and next thing I was on TV with that song. You know, I didn't even know that there were people filming. It was Mel Baila and what's the
For what show
gentleman?
was it? It was Mel Bala and
Studio Mix. Oh, Bob
Yes.
Mabena.
Bob Mabena,
The
yes,
late,
yes,
yeah.
the late great.
Yeah, so that is how I blew up. Next thing I've been called on Yizo to sing and all of this,
remember
and
you on Yizo.
you know, out of the blue, you know, I got thrown into it, and I had not even started writing songs, you know. Actually, no, for Yizo, I had just finished. Like I sang Zandisile on Yizo because it was one of the songs that I'd already written. But those 206 underground poetry sessions and etc., they really shaped me, you know, as a musician that I am. Also just gave me that confidence, but you know who you are, stand up in your power. So then I've always been that person who knows that I may be slightly weird, you know, and it's okay.
Very
Because like that music comes from that being weird.
What is weird
part of
about
me.
you? If you say I'm slightly weird, because I hear people say that, you know, we describe ourselves every now and again, artistic people, as I'm a little awkward, I'm a little weird.
Yeah, no,
What is it
I'm
that's
very
weird?
socially awkward, but when I say weird, I mean like I think differently from the normal person, and I'm not saying this with an ego or anything like that. I'm saying it from someone who knows themselves.
Okay.
For instance, even when I got into that 206 scene, I saw myself apart
From everybody else.
from everyone else,
Yeah.
you know.
You identified your
even the
uniqueness.
trajectory of my music as a result was very different from anyone else from that time. So when I say weird, I think off the tangent.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get
What
you.
was that? You said that 206 was your very first performance, and you weren't writing by then. So what did you perform? Your very first song on stage?
I didn't want to say. I sang a Jill Scott song.
Oh, is it?
Whoa.
Is it?
And I got a
Which
huge
one?
standing ovation, and I was so shocked about what. And I sang it a cappella. I was like,
Which one?
let's take a long walk.
Can you please? Can we kill the music? Can we kill the music? Can we
I
have
forgot
that?
the lyrics now.
Let's take
a long walk around the park after dark. Yeah,
Find a
that
spot
song.
Wow.
Right to spark,
Conversation, revelation,
stimulation. Yes, that's it. Make a situation, temptation, education, relaxation,
What a
elevation.
song.
Yes, that's
What
one.
a song.
That one.
And you got a standing ovation for that.
Yeah, and I ended up on TV.
Beautiful,
Studio Mix.
beautiful. So your father, a preacher, you are a preacher's kid, your mom, a nurse. What was the family setup like? Your siblings, your parents? Did you grow up as a creative child that was given the freedom to dream? Because, you know, preachers are very strict with their children, and, you know, wives of preachers tend to kind of really support the preacher's strictness, and they become strict together. How was that setup like growing up?
Well, my father was a preacher with his own congregation, but by the time we were born, he'd been chucked out of church.
He had been.
Chucked out?
So I don't know. No, you know, like when they say that you've back what.
Yes, okay.
You know, you've done something that is not supposed to be done. You know,
Oh,
like
so he was a bit of a rebellion.
Yeah, kind of. You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
those
Okay.
kinds of church scandals. or whatever.
Okay.
So I didn't grow up knowing him as a preacher at all.
Oh, okay. This
But
is
my
interesting.
mom is the one who was a staunch Christian. We prayed every day, you know, when she had to leave in the morning and in the evenings and just before we eat. I went to church like at least 3 times a week growing up.
That's a lot.
Yeah, there was Sunday school.
Do you still go to church?
I actually want to. I want to open that door again, but I want those African apostolic churches.
Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
you strike
yeah.
me as more spiritual than
Yeah,
religious.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Very interesting times. Very, very interesting times. It's top of the hour, 6:59. Interesting that your dad is known to be a preacher, but you weren't raised by a preacher, because you say that when you were growing up, you didn't know him as a preacher, no longer a preacher. Decoding Simphiwe Dana, 959 Breakfast, on the street, on the air. We are Kai 959. It is Mob Deep 959 Breakfast. Kai 959 on the street, on the air, on your dial everywhere. If you download the app and you stream us on 959.co.za. That is kaya959.co.za. This is titled Out of Control. Soul Phenduka, Dineo, Ranaka, Mpoma Boy, Nosi Khatebe. We've got Phil in the house. We've got Fence in the house. Hey man, we're decoding Simphiwe Dana. How's that? You have a very, very, very unspoken and amazing relationship, Lelebo Mathosa. So when you first arrived in Joburg, and at some point I think it resulted obviously in music, because you're both very musical, what was the mood like in those days when you guys were like hanging out and, you know, being in studio together and building this friendship?
I mean, Lebo almost took me under her wing. She saw me as her little sister, and she loved my voice, and she gave me an opportunity to do a song with her, and she paid me well.
She paid you?
Yeah.
Oh, did she pay you to be her friend, or she was paying you for the work that you were doing?
The song, my gosh.
That can easily be misconstrued by a lot of people. Oh my gosh. Simphiwe, I can imagine the headliner. Simphiwe Dana claims Lebo Mathosa paid her for friendship.
Gosh, no.
Hectic.
We got in studio and did that How Can I song, and she paid me for it, you know, which was surprising, because I thought I'm getting an opportunity to do something with Lebo that is going to be payment enough, you know, but she still paid me, like, and some according to those times, and for someone who was a nobody. Yeah.
You know, I remember the first time I saw you, it was on Yizo, and you had this aura, very deep, artistic, and you're a gorgeous woman. I mean, you could have been a model.
She's stunning.
Right? But there's something, that accident that you were involved in, that almost changed completely, you know, your look, your face, I believe, was disfigured to a certain degree.
And her mental outlook on life,
I've had, I had 2 plastic surgeries to fix my face. The first one was obviously after the accident. And oh my gosh, I had like one side of my face like sloppy a little bit, and like a pouch of, it was just so bad, you know. I didn't even want to look at myself in the mirror. So I had to stay like that for 2 years before I could have the next surgery, because like the wound needed to heal completely, and because it was so deep, it would take a really long time to heal before they could go in there again. So the second time, this is how it now looks. And it has become some kind of signature now. Like, I sometimes will even, you know, throw it out. Just, you know.
Accentuate
it. Yeah, but it was I thought my career was over.
For real?
When that happened. Because, you know, I was like, I'm in a very fickle industry, you know. But that's when I got to learn that my music was much bigger
than anything
else.
Were you aware of your beauty to a point where because there's certain people that don't know how beautiful they are. There's certain people that really know how beautiful they are. And should anything happen to them, like literally they are detached from self. Were you aware of your beauty to that point where it was one of the tools in your toolbox for your career?
No. I've never depended on my beauty, but I had flawless skin.
Yeah.
Flawless. I've never been a pimple person in my life, and I had this beauty mark on this side. Like, it was my beautiful side, you know. So I don't necessarily think that I've never even, you know, tapped into my beauty for anything. I tap more into my intellect than anything else. But I have to say that I was aware that I'm an attractive person.
Yes.
You know, when I walk into a room, people smile, you know.
And you're cognizant of those reactions.
Yes, you know, but it's not something that, you know, I use it for anything, you know, or that I'm aware of it for myself. Like, I mean, I like being beautiful. I like my hair, do my hairstyles, this and that. But it's more being creative than buying into my own beauty kind of thing.
It seems like this accident has really, really, really tapped it pushed you into a certain space, right? And I want to leave this one for after the news because we're going to go to the news desk right now with Nosipho Mpo and Sol on traffic. But I just want you to think about it when we come back, where this accident took you to, because it inspired some beautiful work. And you can't get to that beautiful output. Output.
The One Love movement.
Yeah, the One Love movement. Yeah.
Culture noir.
Yeah, I truly believe you have to be in a very, very specific place of either hurt, contemplation. You were very deep, and it's. I want to connect the dots with the accident. I wonder if it was inspired by the accident. I wonder if the accident did push you into that space where you felt that, you could bring out more of yourself. Decoding Simphiwe Dana, 7:30 on the dot. For the live of music, Simphiwe Dana, one of my favorite songs by her. Actually, in all honesty, of all her songs that I know, this one really has a special place in my heart. And I think it's just that word and how you deliver it. Like just that.
And that word was quite popular.
Yeah.
Before I named it.
I ready, son.
But now it's become associated with the song.
Yes. It's big.
But in the ready, like Simphiwe Dana. I'm like, how? You were ready before Simphiwe Dana came with that song. It was a word that was.
There's something affirming about it, like ready, like I'm ready, and the way you sing it, it's just it's a signature. It's an absolute signature. 7:41, decoding Simphiwe Dana. We spoke of the accident before we went to the news and everything else, and from after the accident, you birthed a multi-award-winning album, right? The One Love movement on Bantu Biko Street. There's a place that you went to after that accident. Describe that place to us. Psychologically, emotionally, spiritually, because you were different after it.
Yeah. When they say that, when you are in an accident, your life flashes in front of your eyes.
Yes.
So something similar happened to me. And as I was laying there in a hospital bed, I started to, I don't know, like something happened, that made me feel like it is time now to make some changes in my life. I survived for a reason. Just life seemed different after that. After I had almost lost it with my baby, by the way, because I was 8 months pregnant at the time. As I was laying there, I heard that something is going to change. This was a warning to me, like by my ancestors. But if you keep doing this, So anyways, I made some changes. I bought a house. I moved with my kids. My kid was 2 months. Palo was 2 months old at the time. Sazi was 2 years old when I left my partner. And I lying in that bed, I realized like this is one of the things that I need to change. So at 2 months, when your body is still a mess, you just think who's gonna love you and all of these things. But I decided that it was time.
What was the biggest change that you made after that accident, Simphiwe? Because you're talking about it being a warning, and if you continue to do this, what were you doing that you felt significantly had to change?
I don't want to get too much into it because it's personal.
Yeah.
But I left my partner. That was a huge change, like in my life at the time. I was then on my own, being a single mom of 2 kids. But by the time I left, my son was 2 months old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
that's literally like 4 months after the accident. So that was a huge change. And then I had to go through a process of not thinking about like kind of thing, like that my face is my main thing.
It's your thing,
because I had felt like, when I heard I had the accident, like, I thought my career was over because people are so fickle, my face, not for me, but for the people.
The industry.
My face is important, that I've got a good face, right? And now I'm Scarface, and they used to say such nasty things, people, as well. But
people are
it's
weird,
not a scar, it's a Prusa face. I'm like,
whoa.
Like, what is wrong with you people? What is wrong with you?
People are weird.
So anyways, I had to go through a journey of rediscovering myself, or rather perhaps restructuring how I see myself. And I really got over beauty is an important thing to me at the time. And my music it came from a sense of loss. Like I had lost something. That would include my relationship. That would include my faith. It came from a sense of loss and wanting a deeper connection than the in your face average everyday
than on the surface
connection. So I think I tapped into my spirit and into my Dlozi space a lot more. I literally just sat there in that studio and I could feel myself healing and being given the songs. I was talking to Buhle the other day, Buhle Bendale, and I was like, some of these lines that I write, I'm like, where the hell did you get that?
Gift.
Yeah, like, I'm just like, I didn't even know this word before I wrote it, So I tapped into the spirit and the spirit responded, by giving me melodies, giving me lyrics and all of this. I'll tell you like what I mean by that. When I wrote the first album, Zandisile, the song Zandisile, it came to me in a dream.
Wow.
I didn't write that song. I woke up, and that's why like the album was Zandisile, because I was just like, what the hell was that? I woke up, and I already even then I had a studio. Remember, I'm an IT person.
Yes.
So when I woke up, I just went into studio. I didn't write. I just laid it out the way it was. It took me hardly 30 minutes.
Wow.
Whoa.
Yeah.
It's amazing how spirit
in
works.
The dream, I've heard of that. And funny you should say that. You were talking to Ubuhle Bendalo from The Soil.
Yes.
Also they also dreamed some of their best songs. They came through dreams.
Yeah.
So all of those experiences then culminated into the project, the One Love movement on Bantu Biko Street.
Sure.
Why Steve Biko? I mean, with so many icons, why did you choose the black consciousness route or inspiration?
Is because he did not jump over the issue of self-love.
Wow.
He was one of the very few, if not the only one, who we have to infuse life back into the empty shell of the black person. Like he understood that, that freedom was not just on the surface. People had to free themselves on the inside and create a space to start loving themselves again. That's why I'm so enamored by Steve Biko, and I'm very sad that he didn't survive to continue with his teachings.
Well, I mean, he seeded it in the right people. I suppose you're continuing to seed that narrative, and
that's
life has pushed you in spaces and avenues where you've had to apply, those teachings from him on yourself, so you can continue to educate and teach self-love through
that's
your
my
song.
whole stick. That's me. I'm all about self-love. I'm quite fixated with the human condition. I call myself I'm an observer of society, and then I can put that in your face, but this is what you are doing.
Yes, it's evident. It's absolutely evident. 7:47, we are decoding Simphiwe Dana. We hope you're having a great time at it as much as we are. Thank you very much for choosing us as your entertainment portal of choice. Let's talk about love. You have obviously, like many of us, been in love, and you've fallen out of love. You've had love end, love begin. What's your relationship with love, Simphiwe? What's your take on how love comes to us, how love comes to you, and what love means to you?
Love for me means a safe space.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
A place that can create space for me to heal. Not like it's a place that heals me, because like you must do that on your own.
Yes,
but just creates a conducive environment.
Yes.
Yeah. For me, that's love. And if there's no growth in a relationship, then something is wrong.
Yeah.
I love love. I love being loved, and I don't like being on my own at all. Yeah.
Is there anything wrong with being on your own? You remind me of Thandiswa, because she was sitting in that very chair, actually. I think about a week ago. Was it about a week ago?
Yeah, last week.
Last week we're hanging out with Thandiswa. And I don't think you've ever addressed this part of your relationship with love. But speaking of King Ta, she was on that very chair, as mentioned, and she was talking about how she sees love just as love and not as gender or sexuality. Is that how you see it? Or do you see gender?
No. I mean, I understand that gender is there, and I think everyone should see gender.
Yeah.
It's like white people saying that I don't see color.
Like color is there.
No, but it's right there.
Our logo is black, red, and white. Please don't pick any other colors for us. The colors are there.
Yeah. So gender does exist.
In relation to love, where do you place gender?
So like there's gender, and then there's two things, and they're not the same. So you can be the gender fluid. I forget these terms sometimes, where then you are non-binary.
Yeah, they're quite complex, and there's many of them.
It's complex, but it's important for us to learn these things because the world is going to move on without us if you don't want to be a part of it.
Yeah.
But I don't think that sexuality can be gendered, even in the animal kingdom. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
And as human beings, I mean, completely. Our history as Africans, we did not have these hang-ups with sexuality and stuff. We accepted people for who they were until Christianity came and messed us up, like with the colonials.
You know, I can believe you. Can I tell you why? And I think this is something that I spoke about with you, so in passing. Was it with you or somebody else? I can't remember. That
Yes. Yes.
And then Zulu men, I've seen this. When they go from a hostela to the butchery, like a whole cow's head, and other meats and stuff like that, or whatever the grocery shopping that they're doing, they actually walk hand in hand, and even pinky fingers together. And to anyone that looks really weird, but that's the thing, it's what they do.
For real.
Never
seen that.
For real. And it's almost like the bromance. It's not something that's sexualized.
Yes, I see what you mean.
But because of what you're talking about and how Christianity educates us, we then start to sexualize acts of endearment.
Criminalize.
We criminalize acts of endearment. So now there's not supposed to be a bromance anymore. Now men can't hold hands. It's like a weird thing. But I've seen it and I was like, this is a very interesting thing about Zulu men from their own hood. Like Kudi was telling, when they go to the stores, they're walking hand in hand. Doesn't mean they're gay. It says nothing about their sexual orientation. It's just what they are doing. Pinky finger to pinky finger. It's quite interesting.
So, Simphiwe, I'm very curious, right? Like, then how do you have that conversation with your kids, to say that mommy is involved, and is genuinely in love with another woman, for example?
I didn't even have to. Like, the kids are growing up in a different time, guys, to us.
Yeah.
That thing is not a big deal to them,
Wow.
Like, it's not at all.
I can attest to that. My children care more about my happiness and my state of being than who I'm with.
Yes, true.
And even besides, like, they grew up in an environment where all of these things are all around them. Like my kids, the whole non-binary thing is so huge on them. Like, don't call them he, mommy. It's them. Like they know all of
Wow,
this.
yeah, they schooled up.
Yeah, like they're schooled up. And they're actually also driving these kinds of ideologies. They're at the forefront of them. It's their world now. We live in their world.
Definitely their world. Top of the hour, 8 o'clock. Sol Phenduka and myself decoding Simphiwe Dana. Nick Holder, summer days, and indeed summer days are here again. Last night I slept with the windows open. It felt amazing.
I'm wearing shorts. Yeah,
man.
Indeed, it's summer days,
It feels absolutely incredible. 13 minutes after 8, decoding Simphiwe Dana. Simphiwe, you have always collected and celebrated different women across the continent, very passionately, actually, and you've always been in support of the Chibok girls. How do I pronounce that?
Well, I pronounce it Chibok.
Yeah, Chibok. Bring back our girls.
Yeah. That Bring Back Our Girls movement. And you also have a song called Chibok as well, right? The story of Boko Haram, artists like Asha in Nigeria, you guys share a special friendship?
Yes, we've known each other for a number of years now. I met her here in Joburg when she was still very new, when she still worked with Kobam Sasuku.
Did I pronounce her name correctly?
Asha,
right?
yes.
Asha, yes.
And we just liked each other and we just kept in touch. And then we actually wanted to do a song together, but it just never worked out. And then I invited her for my symphony experience in 2014. Yeah. Her and another lady called Luika. who's from Spain via Equatorial Guinea.
Yeah.
So yes, I've been passionate about collecting like-minded musicians from the continent, not just from SA, but from the continent. To create those ties that bind. Because one way to unite people is music. It's the easiest way to unite a people. So if Asha and I were to do a song, that would be like a Nigeria, South African thing. That would be big.
Yeah.
When AKA worked with
Burna Boy.
Those kinds of collaborations are important for us to get to know each other on the continent, because we are so compartmentalized from what's the word? You're
segregated.
We are isolated from each other, even though we live on this one continent together. And what caused that? We can speculate. We can say it's colonialism. We can speculate. But the fact of the matter is that we now have the power to break down those boundaries when it comes to doing business exchange, business exchanges, etc., etc. So we don't call China to come and build railway lines in Lesotho or wherever when South Africa can do it. That kind of thing.
Yeah. You have a relationship also, if I'm not mistaken, please help me pronounce this name correctly or teach me how to pronounce this name, Buika. Buika. Who's Buika to you in your life?
Buika is the one that I said is from Spain via Equatorial Guinea. Yes. Buika, I was performing somewhere in Germany.
Your experiences and relationships are so rich and so wealthy. I feel like I wish I was at your house, in your kitchen, with this mood and ambience, and you're making something soulful, and I'm just listening to you tell all of this. Yes, Buika. Yeah.
So I was performing in Germany, and I was gonna come after her. So I was still doing makeup backstage when I heard this voice. If I tell you, I dropped everything to go and see who this person is. Wow. At first, I thought it's a guy, right? And I get there, it's this tiny little person with such a big voice, big hoarse-ish, very hoarse, it's short top.
Yeah.
Of course. And I was just blown away. There are very few people in this world that blow me away.
I'd love for us to hear Buika. Yeah. I've got.
Please play Buika.
Yes.
Please play Buika.
Tengo en vez de un corazón, no sé cuántos corazones. Tengo en vez de un corazón. Tiene el pecho lo que soy. Tiene el pecho lo que soy.
I really wish we were in your house, because I know that would play full length, right? And you were backstage. I would also stop my clock hearing that.
Dude, I stopped everything. And then I went and I bought all the music of hers I could find. And I was like, I'm going to find you. I'm going to work with you. So it was quite an honor when she agreed, because I just felt like she's so much better than me. If she agrees to do this, I'm going to feel so honored. And she agreed. Sure. And the crowd went crazy, because she was not known in SA when I brought her for the symphony. When she stepped on stage and opened her mouth, the crowd went mad.
It's that sort of voice.
It's that sort of voice.
Yeah. Are you about voices, or are you about energy when you pick people to work with?
The thing about artists, we're a weird bunch, so you can misconstrue someone's energy. I think that their work, it speaks to a lot of the person's real character. So I go for the music, and I hope for the best.
Speaking of collaborations, we spoke earlier on about your work with Salif Keita and Bamako as well. I'm curious, which album would you say is the most introspective? And if you turn one into a book, for example, which of your works do you think it would be?
I don't know about introspective, but my favorite album of mine, and I don't like doing this, by the way, but I do have to say that Culture Noir is my favorite piece of work that I have done. I don't know what kind of space that I was in. And I mean, that's when I started to produce my own work. If you listen to Nkwenkwezi, I did all of that. I did basically. And then I just was not confident enough. So I still got someone to come and add. He did something beautiful.
Yeah.
But, that's what I did that. Sinkwenkwezi Maine, I did those songs instrumentally.
Sure,
I did them,
Simphiwe.
So it was the first time I was challenged, or rather I challenged myself like that. And the reason why was because I had felt like sometimes the instrumentation does not, sometimes these producers don't understand where I'm coming from with the work rhythmically, so they interpret it differently from how I would have liked.
Yeah.
So for the first time, I was like, okay, I'm going to create all the groundwork for everything, not just the melody and the lyrics, but the instrumentation as well.
I think you have a thing for, wanting to be hands-on. It's like, it reminds me of your book, A Renegade Called Simphiwe. I know you're working on your memoir.
On me, it's not my book.
Yeah, a book on you, yes. But I know you're working on your own memoir where, similar to your music, you have now more control and it's actually your voice telling your story.
Yeah, just with the advent of technology in general, we have become more empowered. You can own your voice, you can own your music,
your thoughts.
You can. We are much more empowered now because you can actually literally go to put your music on Apple Music and do your PR and own your music.
I like this. Culture Noir sounds to me like it would make an absolutely beautiful documentary about your experiences in your entire 18 years in music. It's 22 minutes after 8 o'clock. We're going to go to the traffic desk. We'll be back. From her first performance that she got a standing ovation from Jill Scott, A Long Walk, Simphiwe Dana, Decoded. Thank you so much. Really, thank you. It's a blessing to be able to be given an opportunity to gain insight and understanding of people that we love from a distance. So we don't take this lightly. You took the time. You came to sit with us for 3 hours. And I was telling you off air, I get it. I get you. Completely. I hear you.
Yeah.
Completely understand.
Yeah, it's an honor to give you flowers. I think you're the blueprint from which so many young artists that I hear, maybe they may not say they were inspired by you, but I hear the similarities, the Amifakus of this world, so many young artists who are bold to be different, and you started that trend.
Absolutely. You gave them a right and a pathway to be more authentic. That's stunning. Thank you very much for letting us decode you. Listen, we had such a beautiful time with you. You are a special human being, and not by virtue of saying, oh, you're so unique in that weird way. No, you are special. And I mean, there's something warm about you. There's something that's childlike about you that needs to be protected, that needs to be looked after, that needs to be respected. So thank you for giving us the honor of decoding you. Everybody, Simphiwe Dana, Decoded. You can catch it on kai959.co.za. And also, you've got an unreleased album, madam, that was recorded in LA, but your recording company at the time said no to the album.
Ouch.
What's happening? They didn't say no to the album. They actually, Galo went under, basically. So they released a lot of their artists, like all of us, like young artists, were released. They only kept Abohyo Masekela in them.
Yeah.
And at the time I was doing this album, so they gave it to me to take with, but it was not done. So I was
and
just
it's covers, right?
Yeah, I was just like, I can do better.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's going to drop? Are you going to drop it?
No. I'm actually dropping my Moya project from earlier in the year, which was inspired by my grief, my mom's passing, really trying to make sense of it. So we did a whole production with Gregory Makoma, the creative director, so dancing, music. We had like 10 vocalists on the project. And if I say so myself, it came out beautifully. And we'll be releasing a visual album in the next month or two.
Yeah.
Would you ever hop on a piano song if the beat made sense to you?
Damn, yeah.
I'm sending beats.
Yeah.
I'm sending you.
Producer.
I'm sending you beats.
Send me beats.
Yes.
If I like it. I don't have that thing that, I can only take. If I like the song.
I love to hear that.
Can't
We were discussing this with
wait.
Blackie
Yeah.
yesterday. I love to hear that.
Yeah, I know.
Alrighty, so everyone, Simphiwe Dana, Decoded to the camera. Pick a camera, Simphiwe. Tell them they can watch this on... tell them thank you for watching.
Okay, guys, thank you so much. Thank you to Dineo and to Sol for giving me my flowers while I'm still alive. And thank you guys, everyone who wrote in or, sent a voice note. Thank you so much for your appreciation. I really am honored by it. And all of these things, they really count. They really count. So thank you.
Thank you so much. You can catch it on kaya959.co.za. Live light, laugh long, love the ones you with, serve and sanitize those that you love. Simphiwe Dana, Decoded.